Here's an application question involving rational equations as they relate to ratios. So in this question, we are given a ratio of the total cholesterol to the HDL cholesterol. So recommended, that is supposed to be 7:2. So before we even continue reading, let's take a look at that. It says ratio of total to HDL. So that means the 7 is total, the HDL is 2. So I always like to do a little key for myself on the side. So 7/2. It says if Rich's blood test revealed that he had total cholesterol of 210 milligrams per deciliter, what should his HDL level be? So again, this is really helpful because I've already given myself the key to how it was set up. I did total over HDL. So my total, Rich's total is 210, so that should go on the top. And HDL is my unknown, so that goes on the bottom. And so now it's just a matter of solving. 7 times x is 7x. 2 times 210 is 420. I would divide each side by 7. I would get x equals 60. And of course, then I would go back and determine how would I label that. So the HDL would be 60 milligrams per deciliter. That's my solution. Now this is a story problem, so I should write the sentence that says Rich's HDL would be 60 milligrams per deciliter. Here's another ratio question dealing with cats to dogs. So it tells us that cats to dogs at a rescue facility is in the ratio 8:5, so that's 8 cats to 5 dogs. Then we're asked how many dogs are in the facility if there are 400 cats. So 400 would be our numerator because that's where I put cats to begin with, and I'll just make x my denominator. Then of course we're going to cross multiply to create an equation. So 8x equals 2000. And then I'll divide by 8 to find that x is 250. So if there are 400 cats in the facility, there are 250 dogs in the facility. Ratio of male to female police officers is 11:3. Again, they didn't write it as a fraction, but that's okay. We know male to female because that's the order they told us in. Is 11:3. Total officers is 112. How many men, how many women? Okay, this one is different because this was male to female is 11:3. So I don't have that information here. I just have the total is 112. So a couple of different ways that we can do this, but let's try it using ratios since that's sort of the focus here. I could write this as male to total. So if I did male to total, it would be 11 to total 14, which means now I could find male here and total 112. So this is one way to go about it. I would then cross multiply, and when I cross multiply, I get 1,232 equals 14x, and then I would divide by 14 on each side, and I would get 88 equals x. So what did I just find? I found male officers. So there are 88 male officers. Now to find the female officers, it really doesn't make sense for me to write another ratio because I know there's 112 total, and so if I subtract 88 from that, I would get 24, and that would be female officers. So 24 female. The other way to write this, and I just want to throw this out there because sometimes it's easier, if I know that the ratio is 11:3, I could say that 11 times x plus 3 times x equals 112, where x just stands for the whatever I'm multiplying by, which of course that means that's 14x equals 112. And if I divide, I get x equals 8. So what does that tell me? Because that didn't give me either of my answers. It tells me that it's in a ratio really of 8. So so this 11 means 11 times 8, which is of course 88. And this 3 means 8 times 3, which is of course 24. So that's the other way to do it, is to multiply each by some factor, x, y, etc., to the total, and then go from there. Here's one for you to try on your own. So try this, then press play to see how you did. We have Oak Grove and Salem that are 87 miles apart from each other. How far apart would the cities be on a map that has a scale of 5 inches to 29 miles? So let's do either inches to miles or miles to inches. It really doesn't matter. This one, I have 5 inches is 29 miles. And I'm trying to find out for 87 miles, how many inches is that? So again, I don't really need to label if I have this little key on the side to help me out. Let's just go ahead and then cross multiply to solve. So 5 times 87 gives me 435 equals 29x. Then I would divide by 29 on each side. And that gives me 15 equals x. So the question asked how far apart on the map, so they would be 15 inches on the map.